Hey guys. All right, so I want to go ahead and talk about the Republican Party here for a second. Now, listening to Martin Burdell for the last year or so, he's talked about voter fraud, and voter fraud is a very big problem. We all know that the recent midterms were a complete sham, and I brought this point up before. I said, we didn't hear the Democrats talking about, election interference during that time, Russia, that type of thing, because they knew that they were going to secure the election. Now, Martin has also mentioned that back in the day, the Democrats and Republicans got together, the two parties rather got together and signed an agreement that said, well, we're going to go ahead and rig elections a certain way. So most of the time the Democrats will win, some of the time the Republicans will win. And a lot of these Republicans that were selected, not elected, they turned out to be rhinos. Biggest example I would say is George W. Bush and his father. They were pretty much the embodiment of neocons and were Trotskyites at heart, as are most rhinos. They believe in big government, they believe in gun grabbing, censorship, the whole nine yards. So I fear that nowadays we do have Trotskyites within the Republican Party. Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, the rest. I know a lot of boomer conservatives really like those people. Steven Crowder, Milo Yiannopoulos, and you guys know my opinion on him. It's very, and not just boomers. I mean, these are, not baby boomers like in the classical sense, but like 30-year-old boomers, for example, the people that I go to church with, they all highly admire all these people. And it's like, that's great. These are what I would call entry-level conservatives, if that's what you want to call them. But when you look at what they're advocating for, it really is not good for the country. And that's why I'm grateful that we have guys like Nick Fuentes, Vincent Elephants, we've got Sticks, we've got Martin. I mean, we've got all these people that are really talking about the things that matter. And I noticed that a lot of these Republicans, like, the Ben Shapiro types, they are preaching anti-white rhetoric, and they're also preaching, advocating for degeneracy. I mean, you had Charlie Kirk, rub elbows with this fella who's a gay Army veteran, black, just complete. I mean, you listen to those labels, and the average boomer conservative is going to go, "Oh my God, what a stunning and brave individual." But Charlie Kirk was rubbing elbows with this guy, and I think that Charlie Kirk is going to be participating in some type of drag event, not as a participant, but just, having like a drag person come up on stage and saying like, "Hey, look, I'm voting for Trump," and all this bullshit. So they're preaching for that type of thing. And you also have to look at a lot of this BDS stuff. Now, I actually will put a video down below in the description. Jimmy Dore had Tulsi Gabbard on recently. I'll get back to what I was saying before, but Jimmy Dore had Tulsi Gabbard on, and she voted regarding BDS. I think she voted against it. Now, please fact check me on this. There may be a big difference between voting for BDS and then voting for anti-BDS laws. I don't know what her anti-BDS stance is, because I think it would be possible for you to vote against BDS as well as not voting for anti-BDS, which actually would probably be my stance. I don't support BDS, but at the same time, I don't support anti-BDS. I think, especially anti-BDS, that is a complete and total violation of the First Amendment. And I think you've even seen this put into place in states like Florida, I want to say Tennessee, basically where you're not allowed to criticize Israel, you're not allowed to say, and I'm probably going to get this video shadow banned. But when you say a certain group of people run the industry, the entertainment industry, then that is technically illegal in some parts of the country, which is pretty awful. And Vincent Elephants has talked about this. Anyways, That's the biggest thing I see with the Republicans is their very pro-Israel stance, and it's not like it's a bad thing to be pro-Israel because I do support Israel. I support Israel over Palestine. I'm kind of a natural selection advocate. So if Israel has more guns, then they're probably going to win that battle. And I'm fine with that, but at the same time, I'm not okay with us giving Israel $38 billion over the next 10 years. All that money could be used to fund things that we need here in this country, such as the wall, better healthcare, if that's what people actually want. I'm still kind of split on that. I don't know if people actually do want healthcare. But then again, more and more people that I talk to, the boomers, they say that, Social Security is a really good thing. So, I'm open to, hearing out those arguments. And hey, look, if I'm wrong on Social Security, I'll come out and I'll eat crow, essentially. I'll eat my flex tape, in other words. That's the biggest problem I see with the Republican Party is the anti-BDS, pro-anti-BDS, rather, kind of a contradiction, but still makes sense, rhetoric, because that is essentially a violation of our freedom of speech, and that needs to go away. Now, going back to Tulsi here for a second, I know there's a lot of people on my channel that really like Tulsi, and I think that she recently has drawn ire from both the left and the right, because from the people on the right, they were lauding her as like a very different Democrat. But she recently flip-flopped on impeachment. She voted yes in favor. And I was very shocked by that. I didn't think that she was going to do that. But she did, nonetheless. And that pissed a lot of people off on the right, as well as, her anti-gun rhetoric, her pro-immigration rhetoric. I mean, she's talking about how DACA must be preserved. I think that is a very foolish thing to say, because we all know that DACA is constitutionally illegal. And I think it's like 1 in 10 of DACA recipients have a criminal record, and most of these people aren't even children anymore. Deferred Action Childhood Arrival Program, yeah, but most of these people are not children. And think about it, a lot of these people don't have documentation, so of course they're going to lie about their age. And don't give me this whole line about, my tolerance, my country of immigrants. The Statue of Liberty poem that was written by a Russian Jew by the name of Emma Lazarus, who was essentially lamenting the treatment of Jews in Tsarist Russia. So she pleaded to the American people and to the press, well, please take us in because we're being persecuted here. Now, look, I don't have anything against Jews, like I said, coming to the United States. But when you're going to use that to advocate for mass migration, of Hispanics, Arabs, people that don't want to assimilate, and now it's going to be Chinese. Believe me, it's going to happen. Then we have a real problem, because the fabric of our country is going to slowly get torn apart. And on the left, Tulsi Gabbard, she pissed off a lot of people with her BDS vote. And you can see that down below in the video. You can look at the like to dislike ratio. It's been ratioed, more likes than dislikes, but you look at the ratio, it's pretty bad. And you'll see that Tulsi Gabbard gave a very politician-esque answer to Jimmy Dore. And a lot of people were upset with Jimmy Dore because they said, well, he didn't press her hard enough. And I get it, Jimmy Dore, as he's told, or rather as he's said about other people, people in the media giving, people like No Name and HW a tongue bath after their respective deaths. I feel like Jimmy Dore is kind of giving Tulsi Gabbard a tongue bath here, which is fine. Hey, look, he is endorsing her. I think he probably favors her over Bernie because of electability. It is what it is. And, our country's in a lot of trouble. It really is. Like I said, I'm voting for Trump in 2020. I didn't vote for him in 2016. I voted for Hillary, but I really like what Trump has been doing for the country. But we are in a lot of trouble because Trump has the Republican Party behind him in terms of partisan issues, But when it really comes to the very important issues like the wall, when when the Republicans had control of the House and Senate, nothing happened because all these people are crooks. Most Republicans are crooks, and we need to, and I continue to say this, Vincent Elephants continues to say this, but each and every one of us, we need to run for office. We look at some of these people in office, these people that are completely incompetent, completely evil, and we say, how the hell are these people getting put in office? Well, one thing is voter fraud, but another thing is, when we see these people that are being put in to office that aren't that clearly aren't qualified for the position, then we need to take it upon ourselves to run for office. Look, if AOC could win her district, come on, guys. I mean, are you really going to say that AOC is better than you? That you're beneath AOC in terms of intelligence, statesmanship, diplomacy? Oh my God, you guys. And maybe, no, I don't know. I don't think that's a good thing. I think that we need to run for office ourselves, and we need to essentially give voice to the silent majority, because we are a part of the silent majority. 80% of the country backs Trump, and that is not going to change, and we need to make our voices heard. So I'll end it on that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. I'll see you later.